In other news today, Israeli forces have arrested several Palestinians in Ramallah after violence flared over further expansion by Israeli settlers in the occupied territories. While fresh clashes erupted between Palestinian demonstrators and Israeli troops in the West Bank city of Hebron, too. As unrest escalates across the region, and an RT film crew was tear-gassed while filming in Ramallah. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has appointed a media chief now who's famous in his own right for some quite offensive remarks. In one of his Facebook posts, for instance, Ran Baratz once accused Barack Obama of being anti-Semitic. In his column for an online media outlet, he also said that US Secretary of State John Kerry had a mental age of a 12-year-old. The White House has reacted to the appointment, saying it is up to the Israeli Prime Minister to decide who represents his country. Amir Owens, a senior correspondent and columnist for the Israeli newspaper Haaretz, he told me that Netanyahu, he thinks, is going to end up cancelling this appointment.
Netanyahu is, for some reason, very uncareful regarding what he does. Now, some people would say that the views announced by this particular person, Baratz, reflect Netanyahu's. But this is not really the reason. The reason is that Netanyahu doesn't know how to vet candidates, and obviously this appointment too is going to be cancelled, because in sports we would have said that Netanyahu excels at unforced errors. Nobody forced him to make this appointment. He auditioned several candidates, chose this one. Now he says that he wasn't aware of the guy's paper trail or Facebook trail, as the case may be, but obviously he'll have to withdraw the nomination.
Story next, Russian fraudster served jail time after creating a huge financial pyramid in the 1990s. Well, apparently he's back in business again. His return came to light when numerous financial institutions were alerted recently by a spike in the price of the cryptocurrency Bitcoin. In fact, it reached its highest value in more than a year. Bitcoin since dropped again in value, but analysts have been looking for what caused this sudden surge, or maybe who. One reason could be the growing popularity of the social financial network called MMM. Now, if that rings a bell, you may recall the name. It's recently gained popularity in China, but this is the alleged mastermind behind it, Sergei Mavrodi. Again, does that name sound familiar? Well, he is infamous here in Russia for his MMM Ponzi scheme years ago, which simply put paid returns to investors from new capital rather than from profit made. He served jail time for fraud. After being released, he started again, launching similar schemes. In fact, he managed to launch the same pyramid scheme in South Africa. It's become very popular there. He also started using the internet for his frauds too. So far, he's yet to match his previous achievements, however. Well, that was the scene back then. That Ponzi scheme then was created back in '92. It quickly gained popularity. It promised up to 1,000% return on investments, but of course the pyramid collapsed 2 years later, with up to 15 million Russians losing their savings. The scheme was promoted back then too through a series of TV adverts depicting an ordinary Russian man who gradually became ever richer with, yep, MMM's help.
Oh, ё-моё! Куплю жене сапоги. Это просто, Юля. Алло,
Is history repeating itself? Well, Jeffrey Tucker from the Foundation for Economic Education told us that scammers appear whenever there's new technology, and Bitcoin is no exception.
Basically, if people want your Bitcoins and they promise a return that's wildly above market average, it's a scam. I mean, you just know it. That's what all these companies do the same thing. They want you to deposit your Bitcoins with them, and they promise you above average market rate of return as a matter of contract. And what they will do is take your Bitcoin, and you'll never see it again. You know, something like Bitcoin is a new player in the financial markets, and people get easily hornswoggled into these deals, hoping to get rich very, very quickly. And it's just too good to be true. I mean, the only way to invest in Bitcoin is to buy it and hold it and keep it in your own possession, and to never give it away to somebody else who's promising returns that are implausible and ridiculous. You can't do that. It doesn't work. Every new technology has scammers out there. Railroads, electricity, internal combustion. They all had scams associated with them, and it's no different with Bitcoin and blockchain technologies.
More headlines today. At least one person's died after a train hit a tractor in southern Germany. Around 50 people were on that train at the time, 21 of them taken to hospital. That tractor was towing a US Army truck. It reportedly got stuck on the tracks. The driver of the train is still missing today. A burst dam has flooded several villages and killed at least 17 people in southern Brazil. 50 were injured, dozens are missing. A search and rescue operation is underway, and the floodwaters are believed to contain toxic waste from a nearby mine. Thanks for your company. I'm back with more 34 minutes from now, live from RTHQ in Moscow. After the break here, a renowned coach takes us behind the scenes of Russian rhythmic gymnastics. It's hard work, that. Maybe I'll see you soon.